Right then, here we have a little bonus video featuring the Fairey Firefly Mark 1. Now, I was requested to do a video on the Fairey Firefly Mark 2, however, War Thunder does not have this aircraft yet, and they're pretty much the same, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. I think the Mark 2 had radar, and that was what the difference was. But anyway, Fairey Firefly Mark 1 in a bonus video. Now, it will be getting its own full-length video discussing the history and the technical details and all that lovely stuff in due course. But in the meantime, we can all enjoy a little bonus video featuring just the battle. Anyway, so we're taking off and gonna go and bomb some ground targets because this can be a fighter. It's a fighter bomber, but it's not particularly good at it. It's a big heavy aircraft and it has the same engine as the Spitfires. I think it has a Griffin engine, but a whole lot more aircraft to tow with it. So it's not quite the best at dogfighting. Ground attacking, however, it's pretty good at because it's got 4 20mm Hispano cannons and can also carry a a small assortment of ordnance. I've got here 2 250-pound bombs. I haven't unlocked anything heavier yet. I haven't flown this aeroplane very much. There we go, in the cockpit. Very noisy. The engine doesn't sound all that healthy, but it might just be what it's supposed to sound like. Got some instruments there with cockpit light, apparently, and got a little tinted thing to go in front of the gun sight if you want to use that. Unfortunately, you can't use it in War Thunder. And looking out on the desert of Tunisia. We're in Tunisia, which is a repurposed ground battles map that has now been thrust into the air battles rotation. Already lost an Allied base. I'm heading towards, the Allied base that is furthest out, so as to hopefully avoid some of the enemy fighters, which, by the looks of it, will be Germans. So expect lots of Bf-109s and German P-47s, because everyone seems to still fly those. It's very irritating. Got a friendly Firefly up there. He's going the fighter route. Now, I'm turning away from the Allied base because you don't want to fly directly over it just in case an enemy bomber happens to be dropping bombs on it. It's a unlikely occurrence, but if it does happen, then you'll be particularly unlucky and everyone else will laugh at you. So to avoid that, don't fly directly over the bombing points. Now there's a bunch of pillboxes down there, and I think, well, those are easy targets. I can drop some bombs, shoot one up with a cannon, maybe 2, but oh no, there is something approaching. What is that? Is that a Bf-109? No, that is a Focke-Wulf TA-154, which was a very late war aircraft. They only made a few of those, and he appears to have decided, oh no, we're being shot at by a Bf-109 as well, and I think he's diving into the river, but he pulls up just in time, and so we're turning with the TA-154. The Bf-109 apparently loses interest up at this point, and he's turning almost as well as we are. The Firefly does feature a very nice pair of flaps. They're Fairey-type flaps, actually, designed by the Fairey Corporation for aircraft such as this one. We dump the bombs because at this point we want to be able to have the maneuverability. And with the help of the flaps, we manage to outturn him, and he also gets distracted by an Allied fighter. So I take a few shots, but as usual, my terrible aim betrays me again. Now we're losing a bit of stability, so I deploy the flaps again. He's pulling up, which is a big mistake. I think, well, we've got him now. And I'm shooting. And a pair of allied fighters, but I get the kill. I managed to shoot enough shots into him, and therefore that is another little notch you can put in your tail fin, or wherever you put your notches. The FW190 crashes, but oh dear, we're being attacked by another BF109, who appears to have run out of cannon ammo, and so is just using his machine guns, but he's being chased by a Spitfire by the looks of things. Yep. A Spitfire and an F4U, so thank you very much to those two. And oh no, another BF-109 is shooting with his machine guns. It's a very durable aeroplane this, but it's not the most manoeuvrable, especially at these low altitudes and low speeds. But thankfully, thanks to the superb Allied fighter cover, they managed to drive them all off. And there goes the second BF-109. They've already shot down the first one. He's shooting up the F4U. I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna stand by while this happens. I'm gonna turn around with my flaps. I'm gonna help out. But I don't need to. The Spitfire steps in and does his duty, and takes out the second BF-109. So now we're going to finally go and see if we can't shoot up some of these ground targets. We've dumped the bombs so as to survive the TA-154 encounter. So we're going to have to do this with cannons. I deploy the combat flaps because they increase low speed stability, and is very good for strafing runs. You get more stability that way. That's what they're there for, so use them. The Firefly in particular has a very good set of flaps now. So we're shooting up this pillbox using our 4 20mm cannons, which I have loaded with ground target belts, so they should be filled with armor piercing rounds. However, they don't seem to be doing the sort of damage that they were advertised to be doing. Might be approaching the pillbox at the wrong angle. Maybe I should be trying to aim for the vision slit or the door or something, but no, I'm shooting in the side. But I have had success with other aircraft 20mm cannons against pillboxes. The Stuka, the D5 Stuka. It's got a pair of 20mm. They can shoot up a pillbox. Well, the Firefly, it seems, has a little bit of trouble. It might be the fact that these cannons are the early type, the Hispano Mark IIs, I think, which, in combination with having very little ammunition there we've just run out, don't appear to have much stopping power, so to speak. Now, for this video, all the excitement is pretty much over. So if you want to leave now, you can, but if you want to see a perfectly executed landing, then stick around. Being shot at a little bit by some of the emplacements down there. They're not going to hit anything. Taken a little bit of wing damage, so the aircraft is listing to the left a little bit, as well as some holes in the engine cowling. Luckily they haven't hit anything important, so we're not leaking coolant or anything. But this stability issue might come back to bite upon landing. We're having to apply a little bit of rudder to compensate. We'll look round. Our friendly Firefly didn't survive the battle, it seems. Now look, that XP-55 took out the pillbox that we had such trouble with. Well, a pillbox. Sometimes 50 cals can destroy pillboxes if you've got enough of them, such as on the PBJ. But our 420s don't seem to be cutting the mustard. So that's a problem with the Firefly. They're good against fighters, not so good against ground targets. And this Spitfire appears wants to play. He does a very narrow fly past and is looping round, and he wants to be approaching on our tail. And I'm thinking, oh, what's he up to? Is he going to try and shoot me down or something for some inscrutable offence that I may have caused him? But no, he just seems he wants to be friendly. Well, as long as you don't interfere with my landing, then do whatever you want, I guess. Deploy the combat flaps. We're making our final approach. Slowing down, 47% throttle. Flaps deployed to takeoff position, lowering the gear, but we are still going a little bit fast, so we do get a warning. So, I don't want to tear off the gear, so I retract them and then put them down again. I'm still going too fast, so I do the same again. We can use the gear to slow the aircraft down by themselves, because they produce a lot of drag. However, they can be a little bit delicate. And final approach, here we go. There's the runway. Look how perfect this is. You might be thinking, oh, he's flying too low to be making a landing. Yeah, well, the shoe's going to be on the other foot at this point. Landing flaps down, 33% throttle. Nice speed, keep it above 160, apply a little bit more throttle. A little bit more. Gotta thread the needle. That Spitfire is showing off with his smoke. And almost down. Cut the throttle. And perfect. A little bit of a bounce. Spitfire's shooting his guns to slow down, but I think that's a stupid thing to do. They didn't do that in real life. Why should I do that now? And also, they don't slow you down that much. Not unless you've got like the 423mm cannons that the Yak 9 gets. And there we have it. I tried to retract the flaps, but I think they've lost all hydraulic pressure and shut off the engine. Wasn't that lovely? I bet you can't land as good as that. Even if the flaps don't retract. Anyway, so there we are, repaired, rearmed, ready to take off. Flaps set to takeoff position, the Spitfire goes ahead trailing his red smoke everywhere. What a show off. Don't need to bother with any of that nonsense. And you can go take off. Levels out. Wait till we get to 160 kilometers per hour, 100 miles per hour, for those of us who speak the King's English, Queen's English, whoever's in charge right now is the Queen. And retract. The gear, the uncaged, flaps. Someone else does a little bit of fly past, it's that XP55. Everyone's dillying about with their smoke. Put up with any of that nonsense. This is a Firefly. We don't go about trailing smoke unless something was on fire. And heading back out to see if we can't bomb that pillbox once and for all. There's a couple enemy fighters still buzzing about, or maybe even just one. But there's a bunch of allied fighters already mixing it up with them at the enemy airbase. And it doesn't seem as though we're going to reach any of the targets before he gets shot down, but we're going to go for it anyway, because no harm, no foul. I informed the team that I'm on the case with the ground targets, just in case the FW-190 decides to run back to his airfield under the protection of his laser-guided anti-aircraft guns. But luckily it seems he goes down bravely with a fight, and thus earns a higher reward than he would have done if he just cowardly landed and does nothing. It's annoying when people do that, because it drags out the game, makes everyone else annoyed, and you don't get as much reward. Nobody does. And they shoot each other down. Must have done a head-on pass. And that's the last one. I'm still going to head out, just in case there's something I've missed. Because occasionally, even after it says enemy has lost all aircraft, there could be still one hiding on the airbase. But, doesn't seem to be. We dump bombs, and we're heading back. And there you have it! A little bonus video on the Fairey Firefly Mark 1. And get some reward. I'm not running a premium account right now because money's a little bit tight. But we do manage to unlock the next set of bombs, the 500-pounders. Anyway, so there we have it. Bonus video. These bonus videos, I'm thinking I'm going to feature aircraft that have been requested by the audience. Ones that might otherwise take a very long time to come round through circulation. I'm still going to do the historical and technical detail videos as per usual, but because they take a long time to make, I'm going to supplement them with these bonus videos. So, if you have an aeroplane or a tank that you wish to see me buzz about in most ineptly, then put it in the comments. And also, why not consider subscribing, because that would be very helpful, yes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.